There we go. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Monday night team vaccination training call. I hope everyone is at home, safe, and feeling well. And I'm excited about our call tonight. I'm excited about our trainer tonight. Let me just unmute Carla here. Go to 1 second, speaker view. Let me go here. There's Carla. Okay, Carla, you should be able to unmute yourself. I've made you co-host. There you go.
You can hear me okay?
Can hear you fine. So welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to see everybody on the call. Thank you all for joining tonight. I'm really, really excited to take this first opportunity since really the world has been on lockdown and social distancing and so on. And to have Carla here, as Carla is a great trainer, a great friend. She's a very good advocate for our technology. Man, it's just so fun being able to get together with Carla and throw some ideas around on how we can, move our businesses forward and how we can help the field move their businesses forward. And, we're at that point in our world right now, unfortunately, that, like I said, we got to learn to pivot. And, despite what's going on with social distancing, and it seems to be changing by the hour on the newscasts and so on, and I just hope and pray that everyone on this call continues to remain safe, continues to adhere to the rules that the government is setting before us, to stay home to the best of your ability unless there's just necessities that you have to go and look after, and look at new ways that we can maybe turn this, this setback into success. And these are one of the things that we have to look at, that despite change and despite what our governments impose upon us, we have to learn how to do things a little differently. And tonight we want to discuss a few of those things that we believe will help move your business forward, move all of our businesses forward, because, let's face it, we're all looking at ways to do things a little different now that we've been sort of handcuffed and told to stay home. So Carla actually was living in her other home and has been away from her Saskatchewan home for 6 months, and came home a little bit earlier than anticipated. And so I'm just delighted that Carla has put together some of our thoughts that we discussed. She's put into a PowerPoint because she is awesome at making a PowerPoint, and I suck at it. So I'm training with Carla on how to do a PowerPoint. But anyways, we have to know our weaknesses too, because we can attack our weaknesses as long as we know where they are. But I'm very grateful that you all have jumped on the call tonight. We've got some ideas and some exciting thoughts that we want to share, that we can all use to keep moving us forward. So my dear friend Carla Archer, and coming to you from Saskatchewan this evening, is our co-host and co-trainer tonight. And without further ado, it's my pleasure, as always, to welcome Carla based on fundamentals of our Vox Life business. And the topic tonight is time to pivot and ways to move your business forward. So welcome, Carla. Great to have you again.
Well, thank you so much, Terry. Yeah, it's great to be on again. And our foundation fundamentals, we kind of had another topic, but like you said, with the way the world and our working environment has shifted, we've been having some conversations about how do we change and evolve within these new parameters that have been presented to us. So I'm really excited to share some of the conversations that we've been having and share some of our ideas with the field and see what they think of them.
Great.
So I'll get sharing my PowerPoint here. Just give me half a second. Just 1 sec here. Okay. And I got the swing of this. I'm much quicker than the first time, that's for sure.
We're all finding a little bit of progress each week.
Yeah, a
But
little bit of progress. That's absolutely
great.
true. So again, this is Terry and I. Once a month, we're coming on with some foundation fundamentals training, and this time, time to pivot is really what we're talking about, because this changes our business environment, in a significant way, but in a way that we will be doing some things that we should have really been doing all along, and many of us have. But this is a great time to be able to reflect on some of those and change things up a little bit. So tonight's topic is, how do we keep moving our business forward in this new environment? And you'll see that we've got some seedlings growing at the top. This is a really important time to be planting seeds, because things will get better and things will improve, and we need to just keep focusing on what we need to do now. So there are opportunities that are available to us, and we're just going to talk about some of those tonight. But how many of you have been led to believe, or you feel that if you reach out to your clients or prospect people now, or even before this happened, that about your products or opportunity, that you would be like a big bad wolf, like you were preying on them? And for many of us, we do have that feeling. And I just want to ask you to take a moment and think about how you're feeling about this. And if these feelings are coming up for yourself, ask yourself, why do I feel that way about this, approaching somebody or having that conversation with them? And I would invite you, like I said, not only in this environment, but prior to, I've had this conversation with members of my team where it's like, how are you brought to Vox Life? What was your experience? How was the technology introduced to you? And how was the business presented to you? And how was joining our culture and our team an experience for you? And when you reflect back on that, most people go, well, I had a great experience learning about the technology and trying it. That led me to wanting to join the business, as for many of us, and love the culture. So when you think about how you feel about that, why do we feel like we would be preying on them? Or why do we feel like this would be a bad thing to introduce to them? Because for yourself, most likely, you've had a great experience with it. And when we can stop for a moment and just wonder why we've been led to believe that, or why we have those feelings, we can start to take a look at how we're feeling about it and maybe changing some of our actions. So what if you thought about it from this perspective, where you were a source of comfort and inspiration, and that you acted from a position of authenticity, and you had true, genuine intent? And if you acted this way, and you did not worry about the risk of looking bad, but rather run the risk of helping a family or somebody in need? And what if you have a solution? And what if you know there are people looking for solutions right now, and that you can offer hope for them? Does that kind of change the way that you're feeling? Rather than feeling like that big bad wolf? And like Jay said the other day, give love and respect, and you're going to get love and respect back from people. So even though we're going to be talking tonight about how we can still talk about our business and talk about moving our business forward, we want to be really, working from a point of integrity and choosing your thoughts and your actions based on values rather than on personal gain, and on authenticity. It's very, very important. So maybe that already relaxes you a little bit, and you go, yeah, you know what? If I can change the way that I'm thinking about things, and I look at these points and go, this is really how I can act and behave, then you might feel more comfortable with it.
Yeah, and Carla, I think that's a great point. And as you and I discussed, on Jay's corporate call last Thursday, he talked about, reaching out and, just reaching out to people that and just, saying, how you doing? How you hanging in? And being authentic in your approach. And what I have found is that even when you have no intent to sell product, I'm selling product, because what's really cool is I'm reaching out to customers that have been, that are friends, and just saying, hey, what's going on? How you doing? How's things now that you got the kids at home, or what's going on? And all of a sudden it's like, hey, things are good. So far we're safe. And listen, I need to get some product. You know what I mean? So yeah. You're going in with, an authentic hello, and it's people see that, hey, our solutions are something that's helping with them in situations that weren't as tense as what we're in now, and they may recognize that. And so it's important to reach out to those previous customers as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And like we were saying earlier, this isn't just about this time and what's going on now. This is how we should really be operating our business all the time. When you went through and you were talking to us about the compensation plan and looking at building your business and our follow-up, do a really good job with a set number of your customers and clients. And this is really part of it, whether it's now or before or in the future.
Absolutely, yeah.
But it's really all about your mindset, because the mindset you are in will influence the information you receive, the feelings you take away, and your overall perception. So again, ask yourself, why do you feel that way? And one kind of gauge that I use a lot is I always ask myself, okay, how would I feel? If I'm thinking about I'm going to be doing something and I'm like, okay, now how would I feel about that if somebody introduced the business to me? Well, I think, okay, my friend Janet called me 3 years ago now and asked me, hey, have you ever heard about this? And I was like, no, I've never heard about it at all. And, told me a little bit about it, and nothing about that felt bad. So when I can stop and reflect on my own experience and my own feelings about something, it really helps me to posture and change my feelings about what I'm about to do, because I know I'm in the right place. But a lot of times it's our fear that's getting between us and our goals and desires, because fear is a clever little thing and it'll weave its way into your mind and try to convince you, well, no one has money right now anyways, right? And no one really wants to know about this. It's not the right time, or they might be too busy with their kids. How many of you have maybe had those thoughts come up in your mind? But how do we know that? How do we know what the circumstance is with somebody? And why are we making those decisions for others? Again, it's all about your perception. So you're the one who will either make the choice to do, or you will make the excuse to not. And again, you have to feel comfortable, and it has to be done with integrity and fit with you. But again, return back to asking yourself, how would I feel about this if somebody reached out to me and posed the question, whichever one that might be.
And I think that's one of those things, Carla, we discussed. It's kind of the lesser of two evils. Because what if you had an acquaintance, a great friend, a loved one that wasn't really quite sure what you were doing, and they found out after the fact, and they came to you and said, why didn't you tell me this? Mm-hmm. Well, I didn't think I didn't think you'd really like it, or I didn't think. And so fear hits them. You presume on what they think. You presume on what they might be able to afford. You presume on whether they want it or don't want it. And I think that we have to decide, what is the lesser of two evils for people here? And so I think doing it with the intent of truly offering a solution to people that are looking for it, I think is very, very important.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you're right. To most people, that's probably almost more insulting than the fact if you just kind of, in a nice casual way, ask the question that you never thought about them. So that's a really great point.
Yeah. If they're not ready, they'll tell you. If they don't, if they're not interested, they'll tell you. And you've done your duty. You've extended the olive branch. You've shared a solution that we have. There may be other solutions out there that are viable solutions for what they're dealing with, and ours doesn't fit right now. But at least we extended the olive branch. At least we extended the information and tried to educate them a little bit on what we have that may fit in their current situation right now. So exactly.
And how many times have we heard the story that somebody we may have talked to has then talked to somebody else, and it might even go another person or two further.
Absolutely.
That message is translated, and then they're looking for something, and they come back in that circle to us and say, hey, I know somebody who needs something, or my kid, or maybe it's just that planting the seed again, and they weren't even thinking about it. But after some time, they might go, hey, you know what? They might be onto something here. This might work for me.
Yeah.
So now, part and parcel to personal development is key, and this is something that's key all the time, because you are your business. And I've talked about this before, but make it part of your business, because you're the CEO, you're the sales team, you're the bookkeeper, your admin, your warehouse person. You are doing everything within your business, and it's really important that you invest in yourself. So you need to keep investing in you to grow and to evolve. But one thing, regardless of the outcome of the action that you take, Your efforts are for personal growth, and find the value in that. So I really strongly encourage you with that. And what I mean by that is, say you are going to reach out to somebody, be it whether it's about business or just even to check in on them, and you do that. Well, acknowledge that effort and that personal growth in taking that step, because that's where the value is. And the more you recognize that and you applaud yourself for those steps, the more that you're going to continue to do that. So that's really important. And embrace this time. If you have extra time, maybe you're home now, you're not going to trade shows right at the moment when you used to, you have that day to do some work. Use this to, work on all facets of your business or your life, be it social media, learn how to do Zoom calls or do Zoom calls, online events, follow-up, communication, exercising, meditation, whatever it is, work on something that falls in that category of personal development. And invest in your mindset with training, coaching, free programs or paid programs, and find somebody who inspires you. So you probably know that I'm kind of a Ray junkie now. That, I think back not even a year ago.
Yeah, me too.
And he doesn't resonate with everybody. I've had other people share things with me. I've watched a few minutes and I'm like, no, I'm just not connecting with that person. But, so whoever it is for you, find somebody, because what I really find the value in is, even in his 6 to 10 minutes a day that I'm spending listening to him, it keeps my mindset in check. It keeps me postured. It keeps me feeling confident about what I'm doing. And it really helps me evolve personally. Like, I think from last August when I joined Rank Makers to even where I am today as a significant development in my personal development. And a lot of that is attributed to being involved in a program like that. So I encourage you to look for something or somebody who can be there for you and help you out. So you love Rank Makers as well, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I just find that it's nice to have somebody that gets you into action and gives you a little kick in the rear end to get you going and challenge you to do things. And I think that Ray's very, very good at that, at doing it in a manner that is real. He doesn't sugarcoat it, and if we want to be, if our goals in this is to be successful and to grow this, then we have to learn how to do it the right way, and we have to learn from someone, I believe, who's been successful and has worked his way to the top in a company and is an absolute dynamite marketer. And marketing is key, and marketing in the right way is key. And there's a difference between marketing and being salesy. And Ray does a good job of that.
Yeah, and he really, that's what I really take value in him, is that he says what he does. Or he does what he says, sorry, reverse that. And even, on his dailies, you see the stuff that he's teaching us and the way he's implementing it in the stuff that we see from him. And I find that really incredibly powerful. If some of you were still looking to get in on that free 1 month of Rank Makers just to test it out, I saw today that it ends tonight. So you would still have a little bit of time to get into that or another program. I find too, as a leader with a team, that it's a nice program or some kind of a program for your team members to be involved in. Because again, there's that degree of separation we have to take on how much coaching and how much direction we can give to people. Sometimes they need to hear it from somebody else as well, just to keep that degree of separation.
Yeah.
Okay, so our current environment, what are we currently dealing with? Well, we know that people want to know somebody cares, and that's very important. And, fundamentally, as human beings, this is giving us the chance to connect. When we've been so busy with our lives, it's kind of nice to see everybody trying to connect with people maybe they haven't talked to for a while, or just showing somebody that they care. And people are still looking for a solution for health, for wellness, and for their finances, because they're saying that we could be facing up to a 40% unemployment rate after all of this is said and done. So that financial stress has a great impact on people and their families. And there will be an increase in e-commerce usage during this outbreak, because more people are shopping online from home, and they're looking for solutions as well for their health and wellness. So a lot of people are looking ways to stay healthy, reduce their risk of potentially catching this virus or just their overall health and wellness. So people are starting to be more aware of some of the changes and the choices that they need to make. I know I'm doing a lot of online shopping. I live in a small community, and I'm not going out. I'm self-isolating, but not going out, and I have those two things happening. So yeah, shopping online is something that I'm doing, certainly. And with that being the case, there's more eyes on you now than ever. So it is the time to take action and to use social media as the tool that's there and available for us. And it's a great tool.
I think one of the things that we have to be aware of too is that empathy is a really, really key element here, because the way you're feeling, if you're feeling, grateful and okay, other people may be just paralyzed by fear. And so, empathy, has to be at the forefront of your mind. And the other thing is too, is that, we can all be very, very critical of the way, governments are handling this, the way our own municipalities are handling it, the way, our company is handling things, whatever. But guys, none of us have ever been through this before, and everybody's trying their best. So this is about just trying your best to be empathetic to people's situation, and trying your best to present in a way that, shows people that we are a solutions-based company. We have things that, if you're stressed out, we have, products that will help you with stress. If you're feeling anxiety, we have things that can help you with anxiety. And those are the, the things that we're really looking is we're not looking to be salesy. We're looking to educate people on what we have in a way that's empathetic to their situation, whether it's, that they've lost their job, whether they're worried about, family members that are elderly and being susceptible to, being turned down, healthcare if they're too old, and those situations that may, happen like they did in Italy and so on. So empathy is really a key element, I think, more than ever. And there's some, if you just as a key, as a side note, Simon Sinek is a speaker that you can find on YouTube, does some really, really good short talks on empathy and how to use empathy when you present something to somebody. So on a side note, that may be somebody you want to have a look for on YouTube as well. So.
Yeah, and you're exactly right when you said about educating. How many times have we gone back to a client and actually maybe spent time educating them on what our technology can do? So this is a great time to do that as well. I'm saying to all of my clients, you've got the technology, you might as well wear it because every little bit helps, and explain to them a little bit more about what we've been finding and catch them up, on what's going on if we're having that kind of a conversation. So it's great. And it's great to connect with people that we haven't talked to for a while too.
Absolutely.
So planting that seed, and, like we've been talking, I think the theme's always been throughout the night here. It's about doing it in the right way. And that's really, really important. And it's about pivoting how you're doing your business. So, using social media, if you haven't used that before, maybe that's something that you take a look at, or maybe you haven't been doing follow-ups as much as you would have liked to. So just changing a few things within your business that you have typically been doing, because you can't, maybe you were all about events and going to trade shows and that was your primary focus, and now you have a block of time. Well, this is a great time to learn some of those other skills that are really going to change actually the way that your business runs. And yes, sales may be down a little now and commissions might be a little bit lower, but it is time to keep moving and to keep planting those seeds, because things will come around and things will change. And you want to put yourself in a position where you're going to be set up and ready for that. Show people what you are doing. This is some of the stuff that we've been learning about working on social media as well, and not in a rub your face in it kind of a thing, but just let them know. For example, I did a post the other day that said, although self-isolating today isn't much different than a lot of my days working from home, because I did this, and this, and this, and I had a few different pictures of what I all had going on. And so then people kind of go, oh yeah, okay, well, if you do work from home, Maybe that is a good thing. Maybe they don't know what that's about at all. How having a home-based business and using neurological technology is working for you. So doing some pieces on that, just to, talk about that a little bit. What the opportunity or solution that you have for their needs, be it health, wellness, or financial. And ultimately not being attached to the outcome. So if somebody doesn't respond at all or don't respond the way that you would hope they did, don't worry about that. Just do what you're doing. Be genuine, do it right, and don't worry about the outcome. So this is the time for action. If you want to build a business and your future, you need to do something now. Now, because what you do now will impact what will happen in 3 months and beyond. It is all about trust. It is all about relationships, and it is all about how we will be remembered, just like Jay said in the corporate call the other night. So act with integrity and be authentic and have a genuine intent in your actions and act in a way that resonates with you. For some of you, you may not be interested in building a business, as we talked about before, and that you just want to reach out to your clients. Hey, do that, no problem. But if you are in a position where you are looking to build your business, this is a great time. Now, I just wanted to talk a little bit before we continue on about some of the negativity that we're seeing, a lot of the news, just with the big changes. Sometimes there can be stress in our lives because this has a great financial impact on us. But we've been doing a lot of practicing and learning about having gratitude and staying positive. And gratitude turns what we have into enough and more. It turns denial into acceptance, chaos into order, confusion into clarity, and it makes sense of our past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow. So I've been practicing gratitude. I have my gratitude journal and writing down my 10 things a day, and I love this practice. And they say anytime that you're feeling like you're stressed or you feel like you might be angry, write down something that you're grateful for. And studies have shown that people who express gratitude increase their happiness levels, lower their blood pressure levels, get better quality sleep, improve their relationships, have a positive impact on their depression levels, and are less affected by pain. And gratitude's positive effects are long-lasting. So put some gratitude in your attitude. There is always something to be thankful for. And doing this practice of reaching out to people really will inspire that level of gratitude within you. But even better yet, the recipient of your gratitude, research has confirmed that people who receive messages of thanks and acts of kindness experience positive emotions when they're singled out. And when someone is the recipient of unexpected kindness and gratitude, they're more likely to return the favor and pay kindness forward. And ultimately, if we can create more positivity and better feeling amongst all of us right now, I think that's a pretty cool thing to do. So what can we do as a Vox Life community? Well, there's plenty of available training and support. Voxination has a lot of information in there, associate handbook, the unit tab. Terry, did you want to talk a little bit about the technology training that we're looking to do?
Sure, we can. I can jump in here. Yeah, one of the things that we wanted to achieve tonight, and we don't want to keep you all night as well, is we just wanted to bring some thoughts to mind and also give you some action steps that you can do. And one of the things that we do is that we have a lot of time on our hands at home now, especially for those that weren't necessarily doing a home-based business full time. And one of the things that you can take advantage of, and I think is more important now more than anything, is establishing a daily method of operation. That because your life has changed, being at home, or however long that's going to be, is to identify what you have to get done in a day. And we don't want to use excuses like, oh, the gym is closed, so I'm not going to work out. Well, no, there's 101 home-based exercises, workout plans that you can find on the internet. Ray Higdon said, load your suitcase full of clothes and do lift it over your head. Do presses with your suitcase over your head. There's always way. So the point is, there's plenty of available training in the units tab on the team page that we've done. I think there's close to 90, 93 some odd trainings in there from the past that are all still applicable to today as far as our method of operation. The associate handbook, if you haven't had a chance to go through the new associate handbook that was put together by Paul Austin and myself to utilize that, to study that book, to know where those things are, where the science are, the team pages we use, the testimonials page, and so on. So go take the time to go through that. Take the time each day to learn something about your business, learn something about this tech. Leveraging the testimonials, the client testimonials. Who do you know that you haven't invited or haven't taken the time to invite to that testimonials page on social media? One of the things that maybe you haven't really embraced is social media. And there are lots of, we've done a number of talks in the units tab, under the recordings tab, on how to utilize and leverage social media, especially Facebook. There, if you have questions, you can Google. Google has lots of great trainings on how to do things on Facebook as well. Use this time as classroom time. We're talking about one of the things that I've talked with some of the leaders, is the Sock and Soul Party, or information night, or tech talk, or whatever you want to call it at home. This may be a silver lining here. We may be able to do an online through our Zoom platform, and Angela Corns, who's one of our great leaders out in Fort Wayne, Indiana, in the team page, has done a quick little video on how to get yourself set up for a Zoom account. Now, Zoom is the platform that we're on right here tonight, doing this call, and you can get a free Zoom account, and you can do meetings yourself with different teammates, and I think it's 40 minutes, I believe, is the free airtime that you will get with a free account, and up to 100 people. So you could leverage that Zoom account, set up a Zoom account, invite people, and do an at-home information night. You could coordinate it with a couple of people on your team to jump on a Zoom. Since we're social distancing, you can set up your computer or camera far enough away that you could do the lateral stability test, the dynamic stability test, even range of motion. And it's about telling your story and asking a couple of your teammates to tell the story as well of why they are using Vox wearable neurotech products. What has it done for their lives? Why did they choose to utilize this product? You could also invite as many people as you want by sending them the link. You can create a Facebook event and share that and invite people, which we'll do a little bit more in-depth training on that next week, and we'll put up a short video this week sometime to show you how to do a Facebook event. Angela Corns has done a marvelous job, if you look in the team page, on how to simply set up a free account on Zoom. And even amongst your team members, do a couple of Zooms back and forth to each other. Learn how to use it. Play around. You're not going to get, thrown in jail for using Zoom, I can assure you, and pushing a wrong button. So learn how to set it up in your profile. If you have questions, reach out. But an online home Sock and Soul Party, you can invite hundreds to show up, way more than you could ever do in your home. And you think about it, we've got 100 people on this call. This could be a Sock and Soul Party right on here, with music playing and doing, using your wife or your spouse or your kids or something to show how the demonstration works on and off our technology. So those are great ways, that you could do. You could do watch parties, some trainings that were on there, and start a watch party on Facebook. And if you don't know what a watch party is, Google it, and it will explain to you what a watch party is on the page. Now, also what we've talked about doing is every Wednesday, Paul Austin and Krista Taylor were doing a call called the Campfire Call. And it was a great call. And but unfortunately, I think that what was happening, and we agree as leaders, that there was just too many calls, perhaps. There was a Monday night call here with the training. There was a Wednesday night call. There's a Thursday corporate call. And people were just having trouble allocating the time to get on there. So what we've decided to do, and we're going to talk about this in detail next week on the call, we're going to launch every second Monday, so every other Monday. In other words, throughout the year, we are going to have a call called Real People, Real Results, Wearable Neurotech, and Why People are Joining our mission. And so the call is going to be an interview type process. So it's only going to be 15 or 20 minutes tops. We're going to have different hosts, like Carla may host and interview two people and ask them questions like, how were you introduced to this technology? What has it done for you? How would you describe our culture? Why did you decide to join? And if people decided to join and their story is they wanted to make money, that's great. The nice thing about this call is we as associates, we can invite as many people as we want to this call. So you may have somebody that has been interested in the product, and what it does is two things. It teaches people how to host, because we're going to have several hosts every other week. It'll be a different host, hopefully. So we have people that are brave enough and are brave enough to step out of their comfort zone, which we're going to encourage you to do. We're going to we want to pack this call with people, because anybody that's been to an event, what is the most powerful things at events? People's stories. When somebody gets up and tells their testimonial, and if their testimonial is you had success with the product from something, and then all of a sudden you are now doing it as a side hustle, and now it's become your full-time hustle because of the situation we're in, being on lockdown. But testimonials are what sell, and people remember. People don't buy what we do, they buy why we do it. And so that's what's powerful. And so because we have to do this virtual now, we can't do events like we were supposed to have in Chicago, and an event like we were supposed to have in Colorado, and the events we were supposed to have in Boston, and so on. So how can we as associates overcome this? So we're going to do this call. I'll train on it more. It's still going to be handled by Krista Taylor and Paul as far as scheduling is concerned, but there will be other people that we want to host and learn how to host and ask questions, and you'll get the hang of it after 3 or 4 calls. And it will be on a Zoom call just like this, and it's up to us to show up. You guys that are on this call right now, I'm sure you're here because you want to bring some income in. You want to learn how to do this better, despite the situation that the world is in right now. And so I encourage you to show up on these training calls, show up on this call, if anything, and invite your friends, invite people that haven't engaged yet or haven't tried the product yet. You may know somebody that is suffering with the same issues that the person that's going to be interviewed that particular night. And we will give you lots of time, and we'll know. We're going to try and post the Zoom link well in advance of the actual call, and who's going to be interviewed, what they've struggled with, and what they've overcome using our technology. So we want you to be part of the community of this. We want you to use this as a prospecting call. And what it does is it gives third-party validation. It's not necessarily what you're saying. It's what we are saying, or the people that are being interviewed on the call, to your prospect on the call. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that on next week's call, and we'll talk a little bit more about doing a sock and soul party. But I encourage anybody out there, if you are at this point where you want to do a sock and soul party online, go for it. Set it up. Say you're going to do a thing, and invite people on the team here, because we can all leverage your sock and soul party, invite prospects to your sock and soul party as well. You're going to invite your own people, but don't wait around. Step up and do this. There's ways that we do it. And if you have other ideas that you can leverage, virtual parties or virtual education nights, or virtual nights where you talk about the product and be able to leverage that to share with people, please, we're open. We're open to learn as well. So we all got this, guys. We're all facing this crisis together. everybody's feeling it in the world, but we can't sit around like deer in the headlights. We have to shuffle our feet. We have to move. We have to take action. We have to pivot, and we have to do it together, and we have to edify, lift each other up. And, will we do it perfectly? Absolutely not. Will we not offend people? Hopefully not, but some may be. But we just got to let it, roll off like water off a duck's back. We truly have a solution that people are looking for, that's affordable, that it's drug-free and non-invasive. And we got some exciting products coming out. So this time is really, as Carla said, is a magnificent time, guys, right now while everybody's at home, to plant seeds with people, to encourage people to, take a look at a solution that we have. This isn't about selling socks and insoles. This is about offering people a true solution for something they've been doing well. And if we can do it empathy, and if we can do it in a way that is professional, and provide people a real opportunity to join us, then I think we've done a great job together as a team to move our businesses forward. So I'm just going to quickly go through, Carla, just see if there's any questions or anything here. Trish Baxter says, I've been working on my own 30-minute Facebook online party. I'm almost done with it, and we'll need to send it to get it approved. That's great, Trish. That's super. We're all looking forward to seeing that. Kevin, we can do online learning all the time. There's so much out there. Yes, absolutely. Lots of great stuff online. Kim says, McDermott says, just made a suggestion for my ladies ball team because they were panicking for a meeting. So I suggested Zoom, and they're so excited. Yes, we have a great opportunity. And I encourage you guys to go to the announcements on the Team Vaccination page. Angela Corns has done a great video on how to walk through getting a Zoom account. And I encourage you all to get a Zoom account. You don't have to pay. Zoom is a great platform, very generous to have a free account, and practice. Practice how to set up a meeting, and you can get that for free and watch that video. So let me just make sure you see.
It's very easy to use. Like the story I was telling you the first time, I was like trying to put a PowerPoint through it and connect people, and I'm not super tech savvy, especially back then, and I could do it. So it's really an easy program to use, and there's a lot of really great videos like Angela's video, but even more in depth if you want to go Google that. Google's my best friend.
Yeah, Google, the answers are there. We just have to do a little bit of effort sometimes to research it and look out. And again, as Carla said, you have till, I think, midnight tonight Eastern Standard Time. If you want to join Rank Makers free for 30 days, I encourage you. There's a training every day for about anywhere. I think Ray's cutting them down now to about 7 minutes. A training, and then he has free trainings and stuff on top of that. But every day he does a Ray Daily that will help you get into action. So I encourage you, if you want to just see, if you're not familiar with Rank Makers, I encourage you just to go on there and see, whether it resonates with you. And if not, as Carla said, find somebody that you resonate with as well. Bill Edwards says, is there a format to follow for online sock and soul parties? No, what we're suggesting, Bill, is we don't have really a format. It's basically, we're suggesting that you could do an event on Facebook. You create a link in your Zoom account, and you post the link of the Zoom account, because obviously you can't invite people to an event to go to a place. They have to go to Zoom. So you have to create a Zoom event, or a Zoom link, and then post it in a Facebook event, for instance, and then invite people to your, to your Zoom event, because you got to do it virtual, just like we're doing now. So just envision that everybody that's on this call right now, and just say, Carla and I were co-hosting a sock and soul party tonight. We'd be talking about, why we chose the products, what products we love. We show the products on the screen, the different types of, socks we have, what we have available to offer. We maybe call on a couple people. Maybe it's Kim McDermott, maybe it's Kevin Duguay, that we, call on and say, hey, tell us your quick story here on why you, what you found with our technology. And they're part of the Sock and Soul party. But out of the 86 people that are on here, let's just say that maybe 30 of them are guests on here that just want to learn a little bit. So I think the key thing with the Sock and Soul Party Online is we got to try and keep it down to 20 minutes to a half hour, tops. That's all the time I think you're going to get from a prospect to look at it online. And then the other advantage that we'll have is every second Monday, we're going to do the interview process. I don't know whether anybody ever saw, the interview Angela Corns did with me about concussion damage. But that's sort of where the seed was planted and where we thought about, hey, wouldn't this be an ideal thing? How can we allow our associates to leverage something that they could invite prospects to other than just a testimonials page that's live, that's hearing people's real stories, and we can, get people, 2 or 3 people on that call on a Monday night to explain their experience. And make sure that we, keep people's stories on, their product experience down to like 3 minutes to 4 minutes tops. And it's sort of before I was using this technology, I was dealing with this. I was introduced to the product, by my good friend, and I started to wear it in a compliant manner, blah, blah, blah. And I couldn't believe the difference. Here's how my life has changed since. We don't need to hear that your cat, fell out of the tree. We don't need to hear that your water tank broke. We don't need to hear that all those things. People don't care. If we're going to do this type of call and you're going to tell your story, it's very, very important that you keep it down to like 3 or 4 minutes, right? I know that we all get carried away with that. I'm probably one of the worst offenders at times, but we need to keep it concise. Before I was wearing the technology, I was dealing with this. I was introduced. Now my life is better in this way. And so I was so excited about how I felt. I decided to join the mission, and I wanted to join the mission, and holy hot dang, now I'm making a living. Now I'm working at home. Now my self-quarantine doesn't matter because I'm working at home and I'm helping pay the bills. If that's your story, that's great. And we can use that platform to invite people to learn a little bit more about our technology, and all we have to do is share the Zoom link with them. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. Let me see if we have anything here that I'm missing, Carla. And as Kim says, you could take orders. You could do drive-by drop-offs, like the paper boy used to do out in the country. You could throw their socks in a bag on their front door and do e-transfer or PayPal or whatever. But there are ways, guys, that we can change. We just can't be afraid of it. We got to embrace the situation with a positive attitude and with gratitude. And I know a lot of you are doing your own calls. There's been people that have started. Diane Dinkmeyer was on a great call with her team the other night. And we're taking, this opportunity to change it into a positive. We can all make a silver lining out of this cloud, guys. We just have to take action. We just have to be open to listen. We have to be open to pivot, and we have to be open to do the work. We can't sit there and just go, oh, gloom, despair, and agony on me. That doesn't do anything. That turns us into Eeyore off of Winnie the Pooh, and we don't want to be Eeyore off of Winnie the Pooh. So, Carla, you got anything for final comments?
Well, just thank you everybody for joining us tonight. And again, to make lemonade out of lemons, I think this is an exciting time. I think this is going to give us the opportunity to really get good at doing follow-ups. And they say if you're not doing your follow-ups, you're working too hard. And this is going to change the future of all of our businesses by starting to use social media, doing our follow-ups, and doing this kind of work that we probably should have been doing all along, but maybe didn't have the time or had some fear involved and didn't focus on. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Thanks, Terry.
I think it was an awesome call. And thank you, Carla, for all the hard work that you do week in, week out to move this. And thank you everybody for being here. And if you're not, if you're here not wanting to build a business, we're grateful that you're here. if you're just here to learn more about the product and share it and share it with family and friends, or just to buy it personally, we're grateful for that, because you are an integral part of this mission. You're an integral part of moving us forward. And so whatever it is that you want out of this wearable technology, we appreciate you showing up. We appreciate all that you do, and know that our fearless leader in Jay Dollywall appreciates everybody as well. So I'm just going to reclaim the host here, and I'm going to unmute all unmuted to say goodnight. Thank you all for showing up. And have a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Good night. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, Carla. Be safe out there.
Yeah, you too, Terry.
Wonderful conversation.
Carla.